Hey, James.
For the Highland Park Scots, the road to a repeat begins today. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Highlander Fieldhouse. So glad you could join us for a little matinee Yuletide round ball. Today, David Peeler's Highland Park Scots embark upon their journey to defend their District 10 4A championship as their league schedule starts today against the Mesquite Poteet Pirates. My name is Brian Sutcliffe. I'm joined by my good friend, Coach David Clark. We'll have some friendly old faces throughout most of this holiday period. One of them will join us for this broadcast, the great Michael Gardner, in just a moment. But Coach Clark, the Highland Park Scots have dominated whatever district they've played in for the better part of the going on 6+ years now that David Peeler's been at the helm of this program. It's 5 district championships in 6 years for Coach Peeler. And if the Scots want to make it 6 wins out of 7, they got to play just like they've been, carrying a 5-game winning streak into this one.
You're right, Brian. The Scots are coming into this really on a high from what they've been doing, not only in the Burke tournament, but a big win against Plano. And this has been, you know, the Scots are ready for district. This is going to be great. This is some old familiar faces, too. We used to play Poteet all the time, and we got West Mesquite and Terrell and some of the others back with them again. So it should be a lot of fun, and hopefully the Scots will get off to a big start.
The Scotties in their home throwbacks today, so if you've been paying attention all season long, you may see guys wearing some unorthodox numbers in this one. They're taking on a Poteet Pirate team that comes into this one at 3-10 overall, but that record might be a little bit deceiving. We'll talk about that in just a minute. Let's go down to the public address announcer for the national anthem and the introduction of the starting lineups. The Highland Park Scots are coached by David Peeler. HP comes into this game with a record of 12 wins against 3 losses. Coach Peeler's in his 7th season at the helm. 166 wins against only 45 defeats, a winning percentage of nearly 79%. Their starters at guard running the point, number 3, Matt Frischilla, 5'10" senior. The off guard is number 25, Jake Steganga, a junior, 5'10". The wings are number 2, Chase Fletcher, a 6'7" senior, and number 20, Will Miller, a 6'5" senior. The man patrolling the middle, the big junior, number 50, Clayton Murtha, 6'5". The Poteet Pirates are 3-10 this year. They're coached by Roynell Bridgeforth Jr. He's in his 4th season, an overall record of 38 wins and 57 losses. They'll go with a 4-guard look to start things out, led by number 1, Raphael Gaines, a 6' senior. Number 3, DeAndre McNeil starts. He's a sophomore, 6'1". Out there as well at guard, number 5, Nathaniel Gaines, a 6'2" junior, as well as number 11, Verkedrick Vaughns, a junior, 5'10". The biggest guy on the team is Chris Murphy. He's 6'3". He's the forward in this look, number 12. He's a junior. The Scots moving from left to right. HP in their throwback home whites, and we'll say hello for the first time to Mr. Michael Gardner, a voice that you've heard several times if you've been listening to HP basketball or watching us on HP16 or one of our various outlets online. And Michael, it's good to have you back, my man.
Good to be back here for the Christmas break. Nothing like a good old holiday hoops to get the holiday seasons going. Noticing that Poteet's in a 2-3 zone. This could be big for HP's outside shooters. We did mention before tip-off, Brian, that not really the best outside shooting team this year, but noticing the height disadvantage, Chase Fletcher could get definitely a lot of touches inside to break this zone.
And Coach Clark, the outside shooting is getting better, and it's one of the reasons the Scots' offensive numbers have been ticking upward the last few games.
Absolutely, and of course a lot of that is Will Miller is shooting the ball a lot better and getting some more open looks. The Scots are being very patient, which is good. I mean, you don't want to throw the ball away, and one of the things Coach Peeler always says is while we have the ball, they can't score. So
the Poteet Pirates, a rather unimpressive overall record at 3-10, but you need to keep in mind that this varsity roster had 7 football players on it from a squad that went all the way to the Region 2 finals of the 4A small school bracket before they were defeated by Lancaster. There's Will Miller. You like to take a minute and a half off the clock and then hit a triple from the right wing. Scots have the early edge.
That's a great possession by the Scots to get a look like that and take an early lead. A lot of confidence right there.
They were able to suck the bottom 3 of the Poteet 2-3 zone, putting Fletcher in the short corner, leaving Miller wide open on the wings.
For Kedrick Vaughns with a nice little baseline floater. He's got Poteet's first basket. It's 3-2, but quickly to the other end.
That's the best way to beat a zone is just beat it back down the floor just like that. Matt finding Chase running the floor wide open on the wing, and they had to foul, prevent the easy bucket.
Chris Murphy found Chase Fletcher at the top floor. He thought he had a block, but instead it's the first foul of the game whistled against Chris Murphy, the 6'3" junior. Poteet picked up its 3rd win of the season earlier in the week, defeating North Mesquite 47-38. It's a team that for the season, Coach, averages only about 51 points per game, but in the 4 games they've played since their football guys have coming back, they're scoring 65 a game.
Brian, I had a first-hand look at those football players, and I can tell you there are some athletes on Poteet's football team, and a lot of young athletes too, sophomores and juniors, and boy, that cannot do anything but help them and, of course, boost their confidence as well.
Chase Fletcher had his 3rd 20-plus point game of the year against Plano. He had 20 in the Scots' 55-35 win. Scots' free throw shooting has gotten a little bit better. They're now over the 60% mark for the season. That's one of the big areas where the Scots haven't quite matched up to the standard set last year, as the shot was missed by Nate Gaines.
And they were down in the low 50s at one time during the year, so that's making progress in the right direction, that's for sure.
Very uncharacteristic of David Peeler's squads as he's been here. There's the lob to Miller! The backside lob, throwing it down. Miller with 5.
That looked great. Well, Will caught him on the baseline, kind of napping behind him, and nice pass by Matt.
And that's the trouble of playing a 2-3 zone, because seeing Miller hit that first 3, it forces all the players on the defensive side to push up, leaving wide open lanes with the short corner baseline, and there's a charge on the other end.
Chase Fletcher doing it again, his 21st charge drawn of the year. He did it 57 times last year. Great start for the Scotties, winners of 5 straight. They really got their game going a couple weekends ago in the tournament at Burke Burnett, and Coach, they really haven't looked back.
They really haven't. That was great for their confidence, and again, we talked about that earlier. that was one of those things where they saw a lot of variety, a lot of different play, and they saw zone, they saw man, they saw ball pressure, and they really reacted. It was like having practices for 4 straight days. It was awesome up there for them.
It's sort of like what Highland Park just saw in this last possession. I believe the Pirates went to a 1-2-2 mid-court press, trying to get HP to circulate the ball around. Of course, with that, you still have those deep corners open. That's where Chase Fletcher was able to get to the basket, which we'll probably see a lot today.
That's one of their go-to defenses, is that 1-2-2 half-court trap, and Scott's worked on it a lot this last couple of days.
That's 2 quick fouls against DeAndre McNeil, 3 team fouls against Poteet, as Chase Fletcher shooting 52% from the line, but he's hit 2 for 2 on that trip. And the Scots have an early 6-point lead just about 3 minutes into the first. HP allowing a suffocating 46.3 points per game.
Well, good block out by Clayton Murtha on that shot.
Raphael Gaines missed that shot as HP turns it over. Number 20, Demetrius Evans, the 6'3 senior forward, checked in as DeAndre McNeil left at the last foul call. For Kedrick Vaughn's tried to split a pair of defenders up near the free throw line. Little jump hook there by Chris Murphy was missed. Rebound Clayton Murtha, who had a career-high 10 against Plano last Friday.
He's one of those that really stepped up at the Burt Burnett tournament. Just is really getting better and better every game. Had
a season-high 3 assists in that game as well. Quick release, left corner 3. I think Will knew that was short right out of the hand. Might have been partially blocked. Vaughn's over to Gaines, who'll back it out, shoot the right wing 3 and hit it.
So notice they targeted Miller, had the itchy trigger finger on the baseline, and ended up getting the 3. Still a relatively low-scoring game here, about halfway done with the first quarter, but Highland Park's doing a great job of slowing the possession down, making Poteet work on defense, which is what most basketball players hate doing.
Jake Stegenga, who's second on the team in assist-to-turnover ratio at about 2. There's Fletcher to Murtha. Looked like he drew some contact, but no foul. Credit the block there to Demetrius Evans. 8-5, Scots with a 3-point lead, 3:33 left first quarter. Brian Sutcliffe, Coach David Clark, Mr. Michael Gardner. Got the triplets up here in the top row of the Highlander Fieldhouse.
We're making it work.
Here's Nate Gaines, one of those 4 football players on the starting lineup. HP having a hard time coming away with it in transition. Gaines will float the left-hander up, a little too strong. Rebound, Jake Stegenga.
That's kind of a crazy possession there. Got a steal from Frischella, and then the turnover right after he tried to outlet the ball from the floor.
In Matt Frischella's last 7 games, he's averaging 11 assists per game. He had 2 points, 3 rebounds, and 13 assists last Friday against Plano.
Well, what a great game he played, too. It's awesome.
There's Fletcher to the baseline, drew some contact, at least got the defender in the air, scored the easy bucket. Chase Fletcher has an early 5. He's averaging 14.1 points per game this year. And there's a timeout taken by Roynell Bridgeforth Jr. With 2:38 left in the first, Scots lead it 10-5. And we have our first opportunity to say hello to the Altshuler & Company Scots mop crew. In the south baseline, it's Evelyn Altshuler, and on the north side, it's Madison Visinski. We'll let you know that Altshuler & Company is a real estate advisory services firm that features big ideas and flawless execution. Altshuler & Company, proud sponsors of the Scots Mop Crew. HP 6-2 at home this year, hoping to win their 20th consecutive district game, a squad that went 14-0 through the district schedule. It wasn't always easy, Coach, as Raphael Gaines hits again from beyond the arc. He's got a quick 6.
Well, they played a lot of games last year that were inside of 5 points, I know, and it was many of them going to the last possession. It wasn't a dominating 14-0, but it was you got to win those kind of games to win a district championship, that's for sure.
And Coach, last year only 6 of the 14 wins were by more than 8 points. So it seemed like, especially that second rotation through district, it seemed like every game was down to the wire. Fletcher couldn't hit from about 10 feet. It's tapped and taken away by Nate Gaines. Gaines will slow things down, waits for Kedrick Vaughn's to join the party in the front court as we've got a pair of fresh Scotties getting set to check in. Nate Gaines on the baseline, bottled up nicely by Will Miller. Into Murphy. Murphy looking for some help. He said, you know, I give away about 4 or 5 inches to Clayton Murtha. I'm not real interested in having my shot shoved back in my face. Vaughn a long 3. Nice job by Chase Fletcher to keep Demetrius Evans away from that ball, allowed his teammate to take the rebound, but it's a 2-point game. Scots lead it by 2 with 1:10 left in the first.
They just backed that 1-2-2 down, and Will broke to the middle, and Matthew found him for a nice look there at about 15 feet.
Will Miller now averaging nearly 11 points per game since he joined the starting lineup in the Scott Classic Final against TCA Addison. He's averaging 13 points per game.
Well, he's definitely an athlete, as we saw earlier in the first parts of this quarter. Nice alley-oop, able to hit a 3. He's so agile on the offensive end, being able to motion in and out, because Highland Park was a little confused as Poteet went into a 3-2 zone instead of a 2-3. So put more pressure on the post players to do the damage of the work. But having Miller, who's a very dimensional player, can definitely help you out, as he has 7 of the team's 12 points.
Raphael Gaines couldn't hit his 3rd straight 3-pointer. And for Kedrick Vaughns and the green-clad Poteet Pirates look content to run the rest of this first quarter clock off. And they've done a good job staying close to the Scotties. It looked like HP was thinking about landing a haymaker early on. There's a full timeout taken with 13.6 seconds left. It looks like we'll see some fresh Scots here in a second. But we want you to know that HP Basketball's annual Hoops and Hot Sauce Dinner and Auction is coming up Friday, February 1st. Hard to believe that's just a little over a month away from now. For more information on donations and how you can contribute, email hoopsandhotsauce@gmail.com.
You know, our parents always do such a great job of working that hoops and hot sauce, and I know Meg Priscilla has spent a lot of time planning that as one of the captain's moms, and Miss Wilson and Miss Fletcher too. I mean, it's just a great production, and they do a lot for the basketball program, which is the end result of that. So we really appreciate all the participants and sponsors of that particular event.
Number 44, Derek Kahn, the 6'5 junior, seeing his first action. He's out there with number 24, Matthew Kreitz, who normally wears number 10, but in the throwbacks. I guess the 10 wasn't available. Number 32, the senior captain, Matt Wilson, 6'4". And number 5, Trey Garrison, also a senior, 6'4".
I think the Scots are going to show a little 1-3-1. They were trying to get into it at the end of that possession to force a little tempo. I think Derek will be at the top of that, and Priscilla will be at the bottom. Try to force a little bit of a double team off of hurried shot here at the last 13 seconds.
It'd be interesting to see if Highland Park stays in this defense, because when you put Will Miller, lengthy guard with a big wingspan, causes a lot of trouble as the first line of defense.
Raphael Gaines has 9 points on 3 triples. Priscilla fires it up. And we go to the second quarter with the Highland Park Scots leading the Pirates of Poteet High School in Mesquite, 12-11. At Texas Capital Bank, we're driven by an unwavering mission to serve Texas businesses and the entrepreneurs and families who run them. Since our beginning in 1998, we've grown into one of the state's largest independent banks, with offices in Dallas, Fort Worth, Austin, Houston, and San Antonio. Texas Capital Bank is proud to support the Highland Park Scots and wishes the team great success this season. So this Poteet squad, coach, doesn't look like a 3-10 team, and I don't think we expected him to after some of the scouting reports we heard from the game against North Mesquite earlier this week.
Yeah, that is way too deceiving because of the athletes that just joined the program after football. And they'll shoot the 3, as you saw there at the end. They will, and I think their 11 points, 3 of them were 3-pointers, so they are going to shoot the 3, and you just need to close out on them hard and block out and rebound, give them one shot at it, and that's it.
Only 4 players have scored in this game. Chase Fletcher with 5, Will Miller with 7 to make the Scots 12 points. Raphael Gaines with 9, and Verkedrick Vaughns, with the other 2. So pretty economical scoring here from some of the big upside scoring guys that are certainly on the floor at both ends for both of these teams.
Well, history says that these district games, just like you said earlier, they're going to be a dogfight the whole way. I mean, whether you're home or on the road, it's going to be fourth quarter game, maybe even the last possession game.
Vaughn's battle with Priscilla. Tried to tee up Raphael Gaines up top, but Matt Kreitz did a nice job closing out to prevent an easy 3 look. Last touched by Poteet. The Scots will have it. Scots have been so good in district play under Coach David Peeler. 76-9 in district play. In the last 2 seasons, 26-2. The only 2 losses, as much as it's painful to say, were both to J.J. Pierce by a total of 4 points.
There's probably only one person in this building who's got a better district record. He's standing over there, Coach Allen.
Kahn will tee it up from outside. Off the back iron, rebound, Raphael Gaines. So Poteet with a chance to take a lead.
And they have to watch for Gaines. Kreitz doing a good job defensively. Has to limit his touches, or at least not let him touch the ball.
Shot was made by Nate Gaines this time.
Of course, going back to your guys' discussion on the district play, it's impressive the record that Coach Peeler has, but also districts are always constantly changing. It's not like in the NCAA where it's a set conference. It's a different team every other year, so it's impressive to totally wipe the slate clean and get fresh new scouting reports, and Coach Peeler has done a fantastic job with that.
I know it was real hard to come up with any information on Poteet. I don't know if it was people not wanting to share or it was deemed to be somewhat irrelevant because if you got them too early in the year, none of those guys are playing. So it's it is a little bit of an unknown.
Nate Gaines to his brother Raphael. Raphael Gaines, in the 4 games he's played since rejoining the varsity, has at least 15 points. He's averaging nearly 19 points per game since coming over from the football team, and he's well on his way to that.
They've all been on three-pointers, though. We haven't seen Gaines put it on the floor and drive to the basket yet.
They waved that basket off. They gave a foul to Trey Garrison. That's just the first team foul against Highland Park in the game. They trail it 13-12 with 6:21 left in the first half. Brian Sutcliffe, David Clark, Michael Gardner, glad you're with us here at the Highlander Fieldhouse. We've finally seen some Christmas-like temperatures blowing through the last couple days. Had your T-shirts and shorts out a couple days ago, and a little brisker the last day or two, so only appropriate as Christmas is nigh upon us.
We got to get the ball to the middle. Derek's open in the middle if they'll just look at him.
So that high-low is going to be big, defeating the zone. The key is to target the middle man on the 3-2 zone.
Fraschilla, they've given him that outside shot. He's got to take that. Couldn't hit it this time, and the Scots offense has gone a bit cold.
Of course, Poteet's done a nice job sagging inside the three-point arc, giving Fraschilla those open looks. And they've been able to convert on the other end.
For Kedrick Vaughns with his 3rd and 4th points, and it's a 3-point lead for Poteet, 15-12.
So the way the Highland Park Scots can sort of get this defense moving is just move it from side to side. Quickly check to see if the high post is open.
Long 3, Garrison missed it to the right, came straight down to Vaughns. Vaughns ahead to Nate Gaines. It's a 2-on-4. He draws contact. That's a tough defensive possession there. You had 4 defenders to only 2 Poteet Pirates, and Nate Gaines showed no inclination whatsoever to distribute that ball, and you end up sending him to the line.
Just an athlete right there trying to make a play. Not necessarily wise, but he's going to get a chance to shoot 2 with no defense in front of him.
Gaines now with 3 points. That's the 2nd foul against Trey Garrison. Kahn, Garrison, and Wilson will leave as Clayton Murtha, Chase Fletcher, and Will Miller rejoin the action, and not a moment too soon as the Scots have fallen behind by 4, 16-12.
Well, it's been about a 6-0 run, 7-0 with the made free throw. Now you have Miller and Fletcher back in the offensive scheme. Let's see how they react to, we'll see what Coach Peeler drives up.
Coach Peeler a bit demonstratively asking for the timeout with 5:04 left in the first half. The Scotties trail by 5, 17-12. In the scheduling quirk that we've seen over the last few years, you have this pre-Christmas district game, and then you'll head into the holiday tournaments, and the Scots will do just that next week. They will head to Plano to take part in the Wildcat tournament. The Scots' first game will be Thursday, the 27th of December. It will be a 2 p.m. tip against the Irving Tigers. A very good bracket that features several teams the Scots have already played this year. Lake Highlands, Richardson, Jesuit. All teams that the Scots could see again. In fact, they could face the Richardson Eagles in the 2nd round.
Which that we remember that was quite a nail biter too.
That's a much improved Richardson squad.
Absolutely.
The Scots were very, very fortunate to get out of there with a 3-point win. One of many, many 5A teams the Scots scheduled in non-district. HP's got to enjoy lacing them up against a 4A squad here.
They're probably getting more than they expected from Poteet right now, so we'll see if they can get it together. I know Coach Peeler was pretty upset talking to them. They'll probably have a set play coming off. Now they're showing man.
This could be to HP's advantage. See if they isolate Fletcher down low.
Frashilla up top, kicks it into the corner from Miller. He'll tee it up from there and get it.
Well, they needed that big time. Nice answer. Miller from the corner.
Good response out of the timeout. Now it's a 2-point game.
Miller's 24th connection from beyond the arc this season makes it a 2-point Scots deficit, 17-15. Here's Vaughn's. Go reject the Demetrius Evans screen and take it all the way in, lay it high off the glass and through.
And it was Fletcher gambled a little too much hedging the screen, anticipated that Gaines was going to go over the top. He was able to let Vaughn just go back door.
Frashilla will try the left side to Kreitz. To the elbow, Murtha go elbow to elbow, right side foul line extended. There's that 15-foot jumper that Chase has been working on.
And that's getting the ball to the middle of the floor too, and it's going to open everything up when you can get the ball inside. And even just a little elbow to elbow pass, they can't defend it and still be outside on the perimeter.
The key was also Murtha looked opposite because the floor opens so much when you put it so heavy on one side.
Murphy couldn't hit it after getting the offensive rebound. That's the third opportunity. Demetrius Evans had 2 offensive rebounds on that trip down the floor, and Poteet regains their 4-point lead, 21-17.
Just can't give anybody that many opportunities to score.
Kreitz from 8 tried to bank it in. Murtha fights for the rebound. It's taken away by Chris Murphy.
It's a good look inside from about 6 feet. Kreitz needs to nail that one down.
That was the first time today that Highland Park has actually attacked the zone on the dribble. A lot of the time they've gone short corner, looking for Fletcher, looking for Murtha.
That was a good little tip. Matthew Frashilla tapped the ball and got a turnover out of it. But you know, Michael, that is great. Scots use the pass a lot to go side to side, inside and outside, but really one of the best ways to attack a zone is off the dribble penetration.
Number 13, Ben Livingston in for the first time today. Livingston will get it. They're giving him some space out there. Frashilla, nice bounce pass to the left block. Drawing the contact, it's Chase Fletcher. He'll shoot 2.
And it's an old school move. It's an underrated move, but the pump fake, Fletcher uses it perfectly every time because a lot of the guys down low want to get that block, the old Sports Center highlight reel. But
exactly.
That's one thing I admire about Highland Park's post players. They are very good with their technique. The pump fakes, the box outs. We've seen Murtha snag a few rebounds.
And, you know, Clayton and Murtha do a good job of getting their body in position to either they score or they get fouled or both. So it really works out well. And because you're playing against athletes like this that can get off the floor so quick, that pump fake is a necessity.
Chase finding his stroke at the free throw line. He's got 9. Scots are 5 for 6 from the free throw line, picking right up where they left off against Plano, where they went 9 for 10, which was their second best effort from the line this year. McKedrick Vaughn's traveled, so the Scots back to within 2, have a chance to tie it or perhaps take the lead.
Well, I'm glad he called travel on that one because he sure called that same thing on us a lot in the first game.
I detect no bitterness whatsoever.
No, none at all. Love these guys. Never seen so many travel calls. The Scots had a little baseline runner there and trying to open up either Clayton or Chase on the block. There you go, right there. There's your travel call.
Exactly 2 minutes remaining in the first half. The Scots led the Poteet Pirates 12-11 after 1. They trail 21-19 with a pair of minutes to go in the first half. Hope you'll join us at halftime. We'll have the latest episode of the Texas Capital Bank HP Scots one-on-one. We took some time to talk with sophomore Mitchell Kaufman, so hang out for that one.
Impressive. A couple sophomores have been on this squad in the past few years. I remember when I was a senior, David Allen was a rising sophomore, a lot of potential. Look at him now. He's playing at Georgetown.
Livingston fake the 3, kick it out to Miller. Open shot, left it a little bit short. It's tapped up, and Poteet's done a nice job with the fact that they're considerably out-lengthed in this game. They haven't had too much problem with it thus far and have certainly been playing the Scots tough on the boards.
Well, if they had a vertical leap contest, though, the Scots would lose. Because these guys can get off the floor. You're playing these athletes, we talked about their football playing ability. They've got some guys that can really move quick and get up in the air. Up.
Matt tried to go no look into the paint. It was deflected. Here comes Nate Gaines. Gaines throws it up with the left hand and in. Nate Gaines with 6 points.
It's basically the two Gaineses and Vaughn that have been the catalysts for Poteet. As Fletcher, nice job running the floor. That's another thing he does well, the little things that Coach Peeler teaches. Post players being able to run rim to rim.
There's a steal. Fraschilla can give the Scots the lead with a 3 or tie the game with a 2. It'll be a foul on the floor. Be against Kedrick Vaughns, his first, the team's 5th. 57 seconds left first half. Scots trail by 2 with the ball. It'll be a sideline inbound right in front of the Poteet bench.
So the Scots need to be quick with their passes as well. If it's not there, quickly move it. Get this Poteet defense moving, because these 3 guards up top on this 3-2 zone are causing fits for the HP.
Into the elbow. Chase will take it. Missed it to the right. Another rebound for Vaughns. Raphael Gaines, who hit 3 triples in the first quarter. Vaughns from 16, a little bit short. He had shot that from the free throw line. He'd have made it.
That's the first time we've seen Vaughn take a contested jumper, because a lot of the shots and 3-pointers that Poteets have made have been uncontested. Granted, they're taking him a couple of feet off the 3-point arc.
8 seconds left. Fraschilla to Miller. Kahn for the lead. Missed it. Rebound. Nate Gaines. There's a foul against Highland Park.
I think they called Ben Livingston. He looked like a good block out, but evidently he was on the back. He's got 1.7. Scots probably won't let them roll the ball in, so they have to take a quick shot, and you certainly don't want to foul in this situation.
Less than 2 seconds left. Gaines will inbound to Vaughns. And Poteet content to go to the halftime locker room, leading the Highland Park Scots, and a bit of a surprising result thus far. Poteet over HP 23-21. So, Coach, a pretty evenly played game, but you know, it's just been a little bit more Poteet. You know, they've been able to use their athleticism to get some open shots, and when they've had them, they've made them.
We talked earlier, Brian, about this being a little bit of an unknown. Early tapes we had on the Pirates really showed, you know, their football players weren't there, and they certainly weren't in shape and in basketball shape, and it's just a different team. And we kind of knew this coming in, that they're going to be real athletic, and boy, they haven't disappointed in that regard.
23-21 Poteet at halftime. At Texas Capital Bank, we're driven by an unwavering mission to serve Texas businesses and the entrepreneurs and families who run them. Since our beginning in 1998, we've grown into one of the state's largest independent banks, with offices in Dallas, Fort Worth, Austin, Houston, and San Antonio. Texas Capital Bank is proud to support the Highland Park Scots and wishes the team great success this season. It's time once again for the Texas Capital Bank HP Scots one-on-one, and before today's game, we took some time to talk with sophomore Mitchell Kaufman.
Couple of sophomores on the team. So tell us a little bit about the honor of being a sophomore on the varsity squad and how excited that makes you to know that you're going to spend 3 years in the program.
Yeah, it's a good feeling, you know, just being here and being in the program and seeing everything you can do, being in the tradition. It's cool. It's a good feeling.
So tell us a little bit about, you've had some nice games contributing off the bench. Tell us a little bit about the mindset that you have to have. You know, you don't necessarily have a lot of time when you come in to really get into the flow of the game. How different a mindset is that coming off the bench versus, you know, if you might be in a starting position?
Yeah, you just try to contribute much as you can, you know, get in there, play good defense, and just kind of get in the flow as soon as you can. Like you said, so you don't have a lot of time, so you pretty much do the best you can.
The Scots have won 19 consecutive district games coming into this league opener against Mesquite Poteet. You have to go back 2 years to find the last time that HP dropped a district game. So your league season starts today. Tell us a little bit about what you think this particular team needs to do, not necessarily to run the table like you did last year, but to win that district championship for a second consecutive year.
No pressure, right? We just need to stay solid, play within ourselves, and just do what we know we can do, and it should work out. I think.
What's the mindset in the room right now? You know, this is a squad that's had to replace a lot of key contributors from last year's 28-3 squad. Guys like yourself are being counted on to really step up and fill those holes. Your team really seems to be improving right now. What's the mindset in the locker room as you start your league season today?
I mean, we just expect to win, and we're just going to go out there and do it. You know, we're not worried about it. We're just going to get it done. That's the mindset.
Mitchell, thanks very much for joining us. We hope you'll join us again before the end of the season. Thanks for joining us at the Texas Capital Bank HP Scots one-on-one. It's halftime. The Scots and Poteet Pirates, the third quarter after this.
This presentation is brought to you by HPTV. If you or someone you know would like to sponsor this unique TV station, please email Mrs. Kelly Snowder at snowdeck@hpasd.org. And from all of us here at HPTV, we thank you for watching.
23-21 is the halftime score. The Poteet Pirates of Mesquite lead the Highland Park Scots. Brian Sutcliffe here with Coach David Clark and Mr. Michael Gardner. Glad you've joined us. Christmas right around the corner. We're happy that you took some time to spend with us at the Highlander Fieldhouse. The Scots hoping to win their 20th consecutive district game going back to 2 seasons ago. And Coach Clark, what do the Scotties need to do to go to 1-0, which is the important mark they want to be at after this game?
Well, that definitely is a target right now. I think a couple of things. Number one, they've had good success in transition, getting the ball on a – first off, you got to defensively rebound. That's the thing that can't give them second chances. And then get the ball out and run. And if you can do that, then you got a chance to get down on the offensive end before the zone has been set up. So I think that's number one. And secondly, get the ball to the middle of the court and let Chase and Clayton operate inside and find an open man or take a shot.
Pretty quick to run down the scores for Highland Park. There are only 2. Chase Fletcher has 11. Will Miller has 10.
That's probably not a good thing right now. They need to spread that around like Coach Peeler's teams traditionally have done.
Raphael Gaines is the leading scorer for Poteet. He had 9 points. He had 3 3-pointers in the first quarter and hasn't scored since. His brother Nate did the damage in the second quarter. He had all 6 of his points. For Kedrick Vaughns with 6 and Demetrius Evans with 2. Number 3, Matt Priscilla. Number 20, Will Miller. Number 24, number 50. Chase Fletcher on the floor for the Highland Park Scots, moving from right to left in the third quarter.
As you see, Miller, nice good jumper. Put a screen on the person on the top of that team. Able to get him isolated. That opens up the lane. First off, your first player is wide open.
That was the quickest release 3 I think I've ever seen from Raphael Gaines. I'm not sure both of his feet hit the floor before he cranked it.
Definitely going to try to push the pace there.
There's Kreitz.
Highland Park's trying to overload one side, and this is good. This could open up multiple options, but you don't want to get too cluttered in the middle.
There's Miller. That's the shot you want. That was halfway down. Raphael Gaines spins away with a rebound.
So even though Miller's
finds Nate, easy bucket.
So even though Miller's 0 for 2 so far in this half, 2 good looks, 2 good opportunities. Of course, I'm sure Coach Peeler would want him to try to go inside with this high-low combination they have with Murtha and Fletcher.
They call this X, where they're flashing a backside post. Watch Chase should flash to the. As soon as this thing clears, they're going to try to get to a flash to the ball side. There's Chase inside. That's just a good sneaking in behind the defense.
It's also interesting for Poteet. Murphy's playing very deep in the paint. I wouldn't be surprised if Highland Park was able to spread it on the perimeter and almost go 1v1 with Murphy and Fletcher 2 feet away from the basket.
Chris Murphy just picked up his second. It's the first team foul against Poteet in the second half. Chase Fletcher to the line where he hits the first of 2. He's got 12 points in the game.
It's still interesting, though, that Fletcher and Miller, the only 2 scorers for Highland Park.
Very un-HP. Left that one short. Scott's now 6 for 8 at the line. Three-point game, Poteet with a 25-22 lead. Nate Gaines, offensive foul, Chase Fletcher did it again.
Well, he does a great job of getting his feet set. And there's so many opportunities in the course of a game like this that you can draw a charge. Chase really does sacrifice his body and really takes the hit. And those are like turnovers. They're that important.
A good momentum boost as well for a team that's still trying to find their flow offensively, because if Highland Park converts on this, it either ties the game or it's a 1-point game, as opposed to a 27-22 deficit.
7th straight game with at least 1 charge drawn for Fletcher. It was a nice job by Clayton Murtha to find some space. He missed the shot, and there's a foul away from the ball. It's against Chase Fletcher. The first on the Scotties.
That's a tough call. I think Murtha had the rebound secured, and Chase actually sandwiched a Pirate in between and got the call. And Clayton probably would have finished that.
And that plays one thing we talked about, Coach, at halftime, with the post players, when they catch it that far up on the elbow, able to attack the glass and go to the basket.
Exactly. Scott's had good offensive possessions last couple of times coming out of halftime. They've kind of got a plan here, I think, that's going to be successful.
Raphael Gaines. Chase Fletcher coming off that screen hard. Vaughns takes it up strong, scores it. Offensive foul.
I believe that's Fletcher again.
It is. That's his 3rd of the game.
Now it's a matter of Highland Park can convert on the offensive end. His defense has been great. They've held Poteet to 25 points, 23, excuse me, in the first half. They're able to quiet Gaines on the outside shots. The only difference is Poteet's now attacking the basket more.
3rd time this year, Chase has drawn 3 charge calls. That's his season high. Ball hadn't hit the floor. There it is.
That was a good look. A little too high of a pass from Fletcher to Miller, but a nice idea.
Kreitz does a nice job to keep that ball alive. There's Fletcher, takes it up through 4 defenders. Last touch by Poteet, knocked out from behind. 4:49 left 3rd quarter. Scots trail 25-22.
Well, that's another good possession. Again, Scott's getting the ball in the paint. Good things are happening.
Quickly into the right block. Chase takes it up strong, misses, gets his own rebound, and one.
That's Fletcher's 2nd rebound of the game. Usually he's been able to convert out of that or get fouled. But huge swing because this free throw can tie the game up. And kudos to Fletcher for attacking the glass like we said earlier.
This is a very HP Poteet type game. You can remember from the last rotation, they play pretty low-scoring games, kind of rough and tumble.
I can remember a lot of those Poteet battles with Coach Bass and Phil Bailey going against each other. They were good friends, and yet they would love to beat each other.
Nate Gaines with his first triple of the game. He's got 11 points. And right back up by 3 go the Poteet Pirates, 28-25. This time Kreitz will try it. Clayton fought for the rebound. There was nobody to help him.
You know, Kreitz just hadn't gone off this year like he really can. He had a couple of 20-point games for the JV level last year, and I think he's just due to burst out of it any time.
Of course, Highland Park's been struggling shooting from the perimeter this season. It's just a matter of finding your stroke. Nice to see if Miller could be the recipient of that on that play. Swing it to one side, bring the far side wing up to the top of the key for a nice jumper. We saw Miller do that to start off the 2nd half.
Under 4 minutes to go, 3rd quarter. Scots trail by 3. Poteet with the ball after Matthew Kreitz picked up his first foul.
Scots go to a 2-3 zone.
2 team fouls against Highland Park, 4 against Poteet. Still only 2 Scots have scored, 15 by Chase Fletcher and 10 for Will Miller. As Roynell Bridgeforth Jr. takes a timeout with 3:39 left. Scots trailing 28-25. We'll remind you once again that HP Basketball's annual Hoops and Hot Sauce dinner and auction is coming up Friday, February 1st. For more information on tickets, underwriting, and auction donations, email hoopsandhotsauce@gmail.com. Brian Sutcliffe here with Coach David Clark and Michael Gardner. And guys, you say it's early in the district schedule. It couldn't possibly be any earlier, but you looked at after the Plano tournament, the Scots play West Mesquite, who is the favorite as labeled by the Texas Association of Basketball Coaches. So you want to get a win here. You don't want the potential of maybe dropping your first 2. Of course, certainly don't want to assume that the Scots would lose to West Mesquite by any stretch, but you're certainly putting yourself in some danger of a less than stellar start if you can't get this one against Poteet.
Yeah, there's no doubt that West Mesquite is the favorite, and they went to the regional finals last year, and they're a good team, and they got a lot of kids back. They're very athletic. And you're playing on your home floor tonight, so you really want to get this win. Scots went back to man after the timeout.
Same 5 on the floor for the Scotties. Your normal starting lineup, Jake Stiganga, started this game, but we've seen a lot of Kreitz the last couple quarters.
Yeah. Oh.
Matt laying out for the potential steal. He can't get it. Raphael Gaines shoots the left-handed 3. Last touched by the Pirates.
Highland Park fortunate to get the ball back in their possession because a gamble from Frischilla ends up giving Gaines a wide open 3, and we've seen him convert multiple times from outside the perimeter.
Straight on, Miller ties it.
That's what they need. From the far side, weak side wing comes up to the top of the key because all the players, the guards at the top of that 3-2 zone are sucking down into the paint because they know Murtha and Fletcher are such good post players.
Will Miller's hit as many as 4 3-pointers in a game this year. He's got 3 for 13 total points, and we're tied at 28. Vaughn's the right-hand floater, back iron, rebound by the junior, Clayton Murtha. Scots carrying the ball into the front court with a chance for the lead. Chase was cutting to the basket. The pass was behind him. Here comes Nate Gaines. Vaughn's open 3, missed it badly. Another rebound for Murtha. 2:15 left, third quarter, tied at 28. The Scots looking to extend their district winning streak to 20.
Look what Murtha's doing. He's forcing Gaines to commit. With some good ball movement, we could see Miller with another jumper.
Kreitz, nice jump stop. He'll throw it up, missed it. Murtha fights for the rebound, over the back call. First foul against Big Clayton. Jake Stiganga will come back in as the team's minutes per game leader, Matt Frischilla, gets a hard-earned break.
Good time to give Matt a rest here at the end of the quarter, and then you got the break for the quarter, and then Matt will be back out there for the 4th.
Poteet has yet to attempt a free throw in this game.
Of course, you wonder, is it which team is being more aggressive? Whether it's Poteet has been very quick in getting to the basket, or Highland Park interior defense just needs to send the message.
Jump ball stays with Poteet. 1:30 left, third quarter. Tied at 28. The Scots defense has been constricting of late after allowing 79 points in that game we all want to forget against McKinney. In the last 5, the Scots are allowing 37.8 points per game, including 19 against Randall in the Burke-Burnett tournament.
And defense comes to play every night, and it's just a matter of whether the offense can keep up. But if your defense is playing well, you've got a chance to win every game.
Nate Gaines floated it in. There it is. This time it was Clayton Murtha.
I was going to assume Fletcher on that.
You know, taking charges is contagious, and when you get a guy like Chase that's not afraid to step up and take a hit, all the other teammates want to do it because everybody's slapping him on the back, and it's a great thing to stop and control the paint, stop that dribble drive, and all the Scots are getting in the act now.
Always good when you get a smile from Coach Peeler on the sidelines.
He loves those charges.
Scots can take the lead. That's a dangerous sellout there by Gaines, but Miller not able to take advantage.
So Gaines is anticipating that Miller is going to shoot that jumper. But Kreitz wide open right now.
Stiganga called him for the travel. 50 seconds left. It's been a nip and tuck affair from start to finish. The Scots led by 1 after 1. They trailed by 2 at halftime. The Scotties have outscored the Pirates by 2 to make it a 28-all game.
It was a 13-9 second quarter. Poteet had the advantage, and now it's nice to see that Highland Park has sort of erased that and put it back at 0. It's 28-28.
.35 seconds left. Raphael Gaines, all 9 of his points came by way of 3 first quarter 3 balls. Hasn't scored since. It's been his brother Nate doing the heavy lifting since. He's had 11 points since his brother last scored. 20 seconds. Here's Verkedrick Vaughns. He'll do battle with Stegenga. Instead, he'll give it away to Nate Gaines. 10 seconds. 6 seconds.
Oh,
there's a steal.
got time,
Matt Kreitz looked up, thought he was going to have to heave it up, and he gives the Scots the lead.
What a great way this quarter is coming out of the halftime break. You had three charges from Highland Park, 2 for Fletcher, 1 for Murtha. A great defensive stand, and then you have the lead going into the fourth quarter.
Nice job there by Kreitz. You'll see a lot of guys that'll get a steal like that and just turn and throw it up instinctively because they think they don't have time. He was savvy enough to look up, see that he had time, drive the basket, scored with no time left, and the Scots go to the fourth, leading the Poteet Pirates 30-28. At Texas Capital Bank, we're driven by an unwavering mission to serve Texas businesses and the entrepreneurs and families who run them. Since our beginning in 1998, we've grown into one of the state's largest independent banks, with offices in Dallas, Fort Worth, Austin, Houston, and San Antonio. Texas Capital Bank is proud to support the Highland Park Scots and wishes the team great success this season. We've got a terrific team working here, a group that I'm sure is relieved that finals are over for the first semester.
Man, I was finishing my grades at 1:30 today. And I
guess
wondering
teachers
if I was
are relieved about that too, right?
I guarantee teachers are. We had these early games, and I'm trying to get my grades turned in before we get to.
Just give them all A's and be done with it.
Well, they'd probably not let me do that, but I'd love to do it if they'd let me.
I was going to say, luckily the NCAA has a rule where you have to allow teams to take at least a week off for finals, being able to take a break from the American University broadcasting to come down here to do some Highland Park broadcasting.
I know, we got the big time here. We got college broadcasters here.
It's a pleasure to be back. Good basketball game on our hands. And also HP in their throwback uniforms, as we mentioned at the top of the broadcast. Nice to see that the Scots keep the tradition oh so dear.
That's a great look from Stegenga to Fletcher.
You know, Michael, we have Tom Shelton in the crowd too, who these guys may remember. He was Jody Bass was his assistant, and Tom Shelton was Coach Snowden's assistant, and coached the Scots for about 10 years back in the 80s. It was nice to see him up and around.
That's a big shot by Verkedrick Vaughns, as it looked like the Scots were starting to take control. As it is, HP leads by 1 with 7:10 left in the fourth, 32-31. I'm Brian Sutcliffe with my friends David Clark, who got another JV win here. Miller couldn't hit the straight-on triple. Verkedrick Vaughns with the rebound. Michael Gardner of American University fame, an HP alum, joins us as well. Easy rebound. Chase Fletcher, head man pass, looking for Miller. It's intercepted by Nate Gaines. Gaines with a 4-on-3. He's got a man on each wing. Good defense by Stegenga and Kreitz to make them slow things down. There's Vaughns again. He hits again.
Good job of rotating the ball there to the open man. Scots had it stop and then turned it over in transition. That's a tough break.
Nice surge by Poteet, who'd fallen behind by 4. They now lead by 2, 34-32.
I see Frischilla is at the scorer's table. Put a solid ball handler back in the game, which is always crucial to have a point guard be the distributor that he is. Highland Park seems a little lost to start the fourth quarter because they're now playing down to what Poteet's style of play is. That's just fast, aggressive, athletic ball.
Dangerous pass. Fletcher, as Jake looked up just in time to catch that ball. Tough move to the baseline, and one! No, it's an offensive foul.
Frustrating last 2 possessions for Highland Park because you have the turnover in transition, then the offensive foul. Of course, on the flip side, back-to-back 3-pointers for Vaughn. He's been the hot shooter so far to start the second half. There's Gaines in the first stanza. Just a matter of cooling down Poteet shooters, because one thing the Pirates are doing well is they're beating Highland Park on the perimeter because HP's in this man-to-man, and they're able to drive and kick.
6 3-pointers hit by Poteet in this game. 3 by Raphael Gaines, 1 by Nate Gaines, and 2 by Verkedrick Vaughns. Both of Vaughns' triples here in the fourth quarter. He's going to try to do it from the left side this time, and he does.
He's feeling good. And if you have a hot hand, might as well keep shooting.
Timeout Highland Park with 5:22 left in the fourth. Poteet has surged ahead by 5, 37-32. Gonna have to put somebody on the Verkedrick Vaughn's a red-hot shooter, a very good football player as well.
You got a chance when you're playing man like that, where you, like Michael said a minute ago, you drive and you dish, and the Scots are all about helping in the paint, and you're going to get some open looks on the three, and you just want to close out as hard as you can and try to put as much pressure on the shooter. But if you're hitting threes, you're gonna get some threes when you're playing Highland Park, because they're gonna really protect the paint.
Of course, Highland Park, I believe they're not switching on screens as well. So Gaines is coming up, setting a high ball screen about 10 feet away from the three-point arc, and Highland Park is struggling to try to stay with their man. And by the time that's beat, that's where you have Gaines and Vaughn wide open to take those uncontested shots. Either that, or you have someone from the post trying to come out, covering about 15 feet of ground to at least get a hand in their face. But kudos, applause for Poteet to start off this fourth quarter. It's a 9-2 run. Just what the Pirates needed to get that third quarter out of their minds.
Scott's got the starters back on the court, and we'll see what we can do here.
It's big for Highland coming out of the timeout to get a basket.
Very important. Need to have a good possession, a good look right here.
Fraschilla, Kreitz, Miller, Murtha, and Fletcher on the floor for the Highland Park Scots. Miller straight on. Rebound off the back iron, coming all the way out. Right of the lane was Clayton Murtha. Touch it into Chase Fletcher. That one is and one.
That's that hitting the ball in the middle and having that one bounce and go to the hoop, and he's either going to make it or get fouled, and this time he got both. So I know they're not guarding anybody but Miller on the perimeter, and Kreitz and Stiganga, when he was in there, have a chance to have some open looks, and Fraschilla too. One of those guys going to have to step up and make a shot.
Third foul on Demetrius Evans. It's the sixth foul against Poteet. The Scots will shoot the bonus the rest of the way, and Chase Fletcher has his second consecutive 20-point game.
And he does it so easy too. It's just a matter of when he's going to get 20 points.
Scots within two, 37-35. Vaughn's being harassed by Matt Fraschilla. Vaughn's escapes. Nice bounce pass to Demetrius Evans.
Scots were hoping for a 5-second call. They just didn't get it. Had enough separation in between that possession.
Fletcher taking it up strong. He was fouled.
Of course, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And Fletcher's done a nice job when he catches the ball. He didn't do this a lot in the first half. That's one thing that we talked about at the halftime break. But when Fletcher catches it, his first step should at least about 75% of the time be towards the basket, because the post players from Highland Park were so tentative to catch it and kick it back out that they're leaving all this wide open space.
Right, the middle is wide open on a 1-2-2. There's no doubt. If you can get the ball to the middle, then you ought to be able to create havoc for the defense. And when they start collapsing, that's when your baseline guys are going to be open on the block.
There's Derek Kahn coming back in, and Coach, you wonder if that's an adjustment made because of the space that's being allowed on the perimeter. You get a guy in there that can hit that shot, or it certainly maybe isn't as nervous about taking it.
Certainly Derek's a little more of an offensive threat than Clayton Murtha is. Probably need an outside shot, and we know Derek can knock down a three too.
The Scots are 10 for 12 at the line in this game, all of them taken by Chase Fletcher. Unless you can remember anyone else that's taken him.
He is single-handedly carrying this team, or keeping Highland Park in the game.
2-point Poteet lead. Fraschilla switches, takes Nate Gaines. Gaines threw it right to Fraschilla.
And that was smart Highland Park switch, because before Peeler called that timeout, Fraschilla would be trying to track Vaughn deep into the corner.
The Scots down by 2, 3:50 left in regulation. Kreitz, got to take that. Missed it left, tapped out. Will Miller fights for it, throws it off the Poteet player, Chris Murphy, and out of bounds. There's a senior play for Will Mill.
Highland Park has done a great job in the second half of getting the second chance opportunities, because in the first part, not a lot of outside shots, but when it was taken, 4 or 5 Poteet players would crash in the paint. And of course, with these long jumpers, rebound could be anywhere.
It's good to see Kreitz step up and take the shot. That's something that's got to happen. Matthew's going to have a breakout game where it's going to start going in. He just
Miller
needs
was
to keep
about
shooting.
to crank that. He just couldn't
he's the
get
only
it
guy
back in the holster.
He's the only guy on the perimeter that they're closing out hard on.
Spins to the baseline. Nice little baseline jumper. Not there. Last touch by the Pirates. Chase Fletcher has 22 points. He's one off his season high. He scored 23 against Wichita Falls and Burke Burnett. He was the MVP of that tournament. 2-point game.
And of course, Miller shouldn't be the only one taking these jumpers. But of course, you know, with shooters, if you're feeling confident, might as well. But HP does not want to fall in love with the jump shot because it's still a 2-point game. It's still 3 minutes left, plenty of time.
Fletcher can't tie it.
Because I wouldn't be surprised if Highland Park slows it down the next offensive possession and do what they did in the first possession of the game. Or at least the first two is an alley-oop and a three-pointer.
Timeout taken by Coach Bridgeforth. With 2:49 left in regulation, the Poteet Pirates lead the Highland Park Scots 39-37. Poteet looking to become the first team in nearly 2 years to defeat the Scots in district play. The Scots went 14-0 in claiming the district championship last year and have won their last 19 league games.
This is going to be right in line with
just the end of last season.
It must be district again.
We've gone in the time machine just about a year.
Exactly. We're down to 2 minutes and 49 seconds to go, and we're in a 2-point game, and it's just like it was all last year. It seemed like that Scots are going to have to come up with some heroics here in the fourth quarter to win a district game.
Here were the point differentials in the final 7 district games. 1, 4, 3, 7, 22. That was the outlier. 5 and 8. So only one of those was particularly easy. And we're picking up right where they left off last year, the Cardiac Scots. There's that 1-3-1. Nate Gaines. Poteet able to handle it this time. 2:35 left in the fourth. 39-37 Poteet.
Takon doing the dirty work up top. He's the catalyst for this defense because it's his job to get the ball out of the hands of the two Gaineses and Vaughn and get it into the hands of Murphy or someone else who's not a strong ball handler.
Raphael Gaines, and the Scots are getting hit with a little bit of their own medicine here as Poteet is content to keep the ball and roll clock.
When they really don't have a foul situation, they still have a couple of fouls to give. They can really crank it up. Well, there's one of them.
And that's just what the Scots typically do to other teams is they run about 45 seconds off the clock and either get a bucket or earn a trip to the free throw line.
It's a smart foul, though, because I believe Poteet has yet to take a free throw in this game.
That's true.
And so it's a chance for a team to see if they can truly win it at the foul line.
Missed that one. It's the first foul against Will Miller, the 15th foul against the Scots. Poteet has 17 fouls, so the Scots are shooting the rest of the way. He got the second. That's the first point of the game for Chris Murphy, who was really the guy that had to carry the load for this squad until the football players came back. Under 2 minutes left, it's a 3-point game. Possessions becoming very important. Kahn can't get the shooter's roll. That would have tied it.
There's still time if HP can get a stop. Still a 3-point game.
Raphael Gaines, 1:33 left. Chase Fletcher thought he'd drawn his fourth charge. 1:25.
You have to get out of the hands of Gaines and Vaughn.
Got to be a point where they have to foul. Ooh.
I think that's what Poteet's expecting them to foul. Of course, you need a
calling
trap.
for it
Coach
now.
Peeler is telling him it's time to foul. There's
It's time.
1:10 left. I'm not sure that's the guy you wanted to foul, the way he's been shooting for Kedrick Vaughns.
Still not shooting yet. Still got one more to give
That is
before they'll
very
be
true.
shooting.
Second foul against Matthew Kreitz. 6th team foul, so both teams will shoot now with each subsequent foul. Into the backcourt for Vaughns, and there you go. There's Kahn to foul him immediately.
That was pretty much of a touch foul. Coach Peeler's not arguing, but he must have wanted that foul. But boy, there's been a lot more contact than that.
Timeout on the floor as Derek Kahn just picked up his first. So the Scots hoping to carry a 6-game winning streak into their opening round game of the Plano Wildcat Tournament next Thursday, a 2 p.m. tip-off against the Irving Tigers. We'll have live broadcast coverage of that one. Hope you'll join us. if you're able to unbury yourself from what will doubtless be mounds of cardboard boxes and wrapping paper and things of that nature.
It's good for Highland Park to play these 5A schools. Getting ready for games like this, the old cliche of battle tested definitely proves.
We're going to test out the other one, and that is the Scotties find a way right here. So hopefully the Scotties will find a way to put this, put some defensive stop together and then have a nice possession at the other end.
Of course, give credit to Poteet. When the 5 players took the floor, immediately we noticed the height advantage for Highland Park's favor. And so Poteet sagged into a 2-3 zone. First 2 possessions didn't work. And then ever since, his 3-2 zone has given the guards from Highland Park fits because it's put a lot of the load on Chase Fletcher, has 22 of the team's 37 points. And it's been great defense for Poteet that's been able to keep the Pirates in this game. And on the flip side, hot shooting from the perimeter.
Well, you looked at the roster for Poteet and saw they didn't have a player taller than 6'3". Well, the only other time I've seen that this year was when the Scots got ready to play Plainview, a team that Highland Park embarrassed. And this has been a very different game as Vaughns hits the first. They earn the second. For Kedrick Vaughns now with 16 points. He's the leading scorer for Poteet. And it's a 2-possession game. The Pirates up by 4 with 1:08 left.
You know, the Scots are going to see a lot of zone until they show that they can shoot the ball from the outside. That's just a way of forcing the guys to hit an outside shot, and hopefully they can get one done.
5-point lead for Poteet, 42-37.
Highland Park doesn't necessarily need a 3 as of now. A quick 2 would do if they can get it because they let Poteet get back in their zone.
Price creates space, fires, missed it. Rebound, Poteet.
He's been snake bit on 3 of those shots. Those runners, Highland Park has gotten good looks in the second half. It's just they can't buy a basket.
Crunch time now for the Scotties. The margin for error is 0 at this point. They trail by 5, and Chris Murphy goes to the line to shoot the 1-and-1. It's the 8th team foul against Highland Park, the 3rd against Chase Fletcher. And aside from that bucket in the final play of the 3rd quarter, again, the Scots have only 2 players that have scored. That's a big miss.
That helps. Let's see what they can come up with.
Time is the 6th defender here for Poteet. Quickly, the 3 ball missed badly. Last touch by Poteet. The Scots might have caught a break right there.
Quick 2 would do, and then immediately foul because Highland Park still has the 1-and-1 advantage for Poteet.
Oh, twice I think they missed Chase coming down the lane line for a layup.
Miller, left side 3 ball. That's short. Rebound, Nate Gaines. And this one's just not looking like it's the Scots' day. They've had some shots here in the second half. They have not been falling.
Yeah, that's a tough break. Again, trying to hit the 3 ball. Like Michael said, I don't know that they necessarily needed a 3 ball then. They just needed a good shot. And I think they had Chase running down the lane line and would have been a nice layup, maybe even an and 1. So you never know. And Will had a good look from the corner, just didn't knock it down.
Second foul against Derek Kahn. It's still the 1-and-1. First one goes down for Nate Gaines, who now has 12 points. The fewest points the Scots have scored in a game this year is 44. So they're in danger of their toughest offensive game of the year as Nate Gaines hits both. He's got 13 points. Poteet's 5 for 7 from the line, and the Scotties are in trouble. 24 seconds left, trailing by 7, 44-37. The Scots led 30-28 after 3.
It was that start of the 4th quarter where Poteet went on a 9-2 run. And it seemed like as soon as they get that, Vaughn hit those 2 threes. The momentum swung back in the Pirates' favor. They were able to see that their defense did work on the other end because Fletcher was the only one scoring. Miller was getting good looks, but shots weren't falling. Kreitz was getting good looks, shots weren't falling. Then the confidence just starts building. And then when you end up getting stops on defense and hitting 3-pointers on the offensive end, it just surges through you. And that's how Poteet's been able to keep the lead because the defense has been able to stop. They've been able to convert on the offensive end.
Well, now you need a 3 ball.
Well, it's a 3-possession game now because of those 2 free throws. So you need a 3. About your only chance would be to make a quick 3 and and foul quickly and hope for the best. But you need the ball 3 times, and they're going to get it in between each one of those. So you got to foul, and hopefully somebody make a shot. I mean, if somebody makes a shot, then you got a little momentum. You'll see what happens.
The Scots will roll it as far as Poteet will allow. 23 seconds.
Right there.
There's Fraschilla over from Miller. Back to Fraschilla. Matt's got to shoot that, and he hit it. His first 3-pointer of the season.
Could have come in a more better time.
Okay, they're going to try to set up a trap on the inbound, and if they don't steal the ball, I'm sure there's going to be a quick foul and put somebody on the line. But that at least gives them a hope. That gives them a chance.
It could force a turnover because Poteet's immediately thinking the quick foul is going to come. And that's where you get a bad pass or it off the leg.
Both teams with 1 timeout left. Just under 17 seconds to go. Poteet leads Highland Park 44-40. Brian Sutcliffe, Coach David Clark, Michael Gardner. The 3-man booth. We'd have it no other way.
Is this a booth? No.
I guess. That was the bench. 3-man bench.
3-man bench.
Best seat in the house.
Yeah, that is the best seat. Still the best value entertainment there is in high school sports. Come see it.
Will Miller will defend the baseline as Nate Gaines will get the ball. HP trailing by 4. Need to make something happen.
Quick trap
for
right
Kedrick
there.
Vaughns.
They try to get something. Quick steal and then a quick foul when they couldn't get it.
And for Kedrick Vaughns has 11 points in the 4th quarter. That's not too shabby.
He's stepped up. He's done a good job, and he's kind of been the leader out there for him.
That foul's against Fraschilla. It's just his first. Missed the first. Still 16 seconds. Plenty of time.
You got 5 guys out there that can all make a 3. Trey Garrison's in, and we know Con can, and Miller and Fraschilla just showed he can shoot it.
I'd say Miller should be your first option.
That'd almost take the first one that
12
gets a look.
seconds left. Matt's going to try it again. He left that one short. Garrison tapped it. The ball is tied up. It's going to Poteet. 7.7 seconds left.
Well, that would have made it interesting if that one goes. At least Scots would have called their other timeout, last timeout, and good things would have happened.
Will Miller tapped it, but nobody was there. Raphael Gaines is fouled. And it looks like Poteet is going to steal a win.
It's a big win for Poteet to come into Highlander Fieldhouse and beat the Scots. That's gonna be one that people will be surprised at, I think, when they open the newspaper tomorrow.
That's the first point for Raphael Gaines since the 1st quarter, but it puts him into double figures. He's got 10.
Of course, now things get interesting because, Brian, you mentioned they play West Mesquite next. It was a very high powerhouse team, and HP could be potentially facing 0-2 in district play.
Fraschilla throws it up, he'll miss it. And the Highland Park Scots are handed a district loss for the first time in nearly 2 seasons. 47-40 is the final. HP denied their 20th straight district win. They fall to 12-4 on the season. And the Poteet Pirates, a team you need to keep your eye out for. They're now just 4-10 on the year, but that's 2 wins in a row. And with those football players back, they look like they could scare some teams this year. They did more than that to the Scotties here. They escaped from Highlander Fieldhouse with a 47-40 win. The leading scorer for the Scots was Chase Fletcher. He had 22 points, just 1 off his season high. Matt Fraschilla had 3, Matthew Kreitz with 2, Will Miller with 13, and guys, that's it.
It wasn't that usual balance that we're used to seeing with the Scots, and there were some guys that had some looks, and they just didn't knock them down tonight, and that makes it tough. But the Scots need to bounce back and put this one behind them. Now you go into a 5-day break. You know, it's Scots. The guys are probably lucky that they can't have practice tomorrow because it might not be much fun.
It might not have been fun.
Might not be very much fun. So they'll take a little break and then they'll come back and kind of regroup when the tournament time comes.
The 40 points the Scots scored, their fewest of the season. 44 had been the fewest prior to this one, but they are defeated by Poteet. And I think, Michael, if you looked and said the Scots were going to allow 47 points, the way they've been playing, you'd be pretty confident they were going to be 1-0 in district.
It was the 3-2 zone that really frustrated Highland Park because the lack of outside shooting, basically Will Miller was taking the majority of the three-pointers. We didn't see Matt Frischel take his shot until the very end of the ball game. So once you take that dynamic out, puts all the pressure on Chase Fletcher down low, and Poteet was able to sag inside the three-point arc, give the Scots guards those open looks, which the shots were there, it just didn't fall. But it was a good defense from Poteet that ended up winning this game, and they were able to convert on the offensive end.
And, Coach, we've talked about that a lot, specifically saying that as you get into district, teams are going to zone the Scots up, and they're going to have to hit some shots from the outside. And, you know, there were shots there to be had, and I know that it's been the Scots' modus operandi this year to pump it down to Chase and try to get those buckets down low. But as we get through district, starting with the West Mesquite game that'll be played in a couple of weeks, HP's going to have to be a threat from the perimeter, or they're going to have more games like this that go down to the wire, very low-scoring affairs.
I totally agree, and we have talked about that throughout the season, that I think it's going to happen. You know, guys like Kreitz and Stiganga, and these guys are good shooters. It's not like they're not good shooters, and somebody other than Will Miller outside and Chase Fletcher inside is going to have to be an offensive option for the Scots. And and that'll happen. Again, this is going to be a dogfight for the district. I think there's a lot of teams that potentially could give the Scots some trouble. And, you know, the toughest one, of course, is the next district game down the road there with West Mesquite. So the Scots got some things to work on, that's for sure, and shooting is just one of them. I think that this will be kind of an eye-opening. Scots had a lot of momentum going into this game, and so it's kind of like a step backwards. But they'll put it back together and come out, I'm sure, at the tournament fired up and ready to play.
Well, the Burt Burnett tournament was the shot in the arm the Scotties needed after that rough game at McKinney. So HP will need a revitalizing performance in the tournament before they get ready to take on West Mesquite in a couple weeks. The Scots now at 12-4 will take on the Irving Tigers. Our next broadcast will start at 2 p.m. next Thursday, December 27th. We hope you'll join us for preliminary round play. It'll be the Scotties and the Irving Tigers getting it going in round one of the 2012 Plano Wildcat Tournament. We had a great crew bringing this one to you. Kelly Snowden, our producer, Drew Allman twisting and tweaking as only he can, Alex Kramer up on the high cam, Connor Palacios, the wild man, on the floor, William Planey handling the graphics. Michael Gardner, I hope this isn't the last time you're with us during the holiday season. Hopefully you're out there with us in Plano. Coach, we know you'll be doing your JV thing next week, so we'll have to hold down the fort, but it's just not the same without you, my man. So we'll be glad to be back with you when the Scotties take on West Mesquite. Hope you guys have a very Merry Christmas.
And to you.
And we'll do this next week. So for Michael Gardner and Coach David Clark, I'm Brian Sutcliffe. Our best to you and yours. Have a wonderful holiday. We'll see you next week. So long, everybody.
This presentation is brought to you by HPTV. If you or someone you know would like to sponsor this unique TV station, please email Mrs. Kelly Snowder at snowdeck@hpasd.org. And from all of us here at HPTV, we thank you for watching.